Spring of 44, and the Italians surrendered. What that meant is the Germans got to perform Operation Constantine, which basically meant they went around trying to disarm the Italian troops. It did not go well. Sometimes it works a lot better, but there are significant partisan units on the board. So the partisans were basically able to outnumber the Germans, and a lot of Italian units switched sides. And then the end of that is, because the Germans all had to move out of position covering areas, a lot of valuable areas were uncovered. However, the Germans were able to wipe out the partisans in certain areas. So for example, Albania is empty now, Dalmatia is empty now. They failed in Istria, they came close, but only knocked them into the hideaway box. However, areas like Slovenia don't have any Axis control in them. We have major revolts in Bosnia, a minor one over in Serbia, and a huge one in Montenegro. Lots and lots of Chetniks. Now, they're not going to last, and there's not much to replace them at this point, but it's kind of cute. There were some partisans that appeared too, a couple divisions there. So that's a pretty potent turn for the partisans. Point-wise, though, it wasn't that great. They're only up to 338. Should be enough time to break their 500 easily, but we'll see. Summer of 44. There's not a lot that the Axis can do in the game at this point. Basically, they try to cover valuable locations, and that's it. Restrict the growth in victory points. Right now, that's at 480. So the partisans are pretty much guaranteed a victory. If you allowed bidding, it would still be a factor. I'm going to continue playing it out because I like to play the game. I think it's a fun game. But yeah, it's over in terms of the base victory points at this point, basically. What do they need? They need, I think it's 500 to win. I don't have the points right in front of me. How to start and win the game. How to win. Yeah, Yugoslav marginals at 500. And since I've kind of learned not to try to do anything with the Yugoslavs early in the game, like in the first two turns where you can't even move, it's become almost a consistent issue that they've been able to win by good margins. If they move too quickly on those, they basically never get a start in the game. It's just too easy to stomp them. It's a matter of, okay, I'll hide and try to do something. But yeah, this is pretty much what I'm used to with the game. So it's fall of 44, and the game of whack-a-mole is just about to end. Those are Russian and Bulgarians. The Bulgarians are going to switch sides. That are just going to come in and pretty much storm Macedonia, Serbia. I'm not sure how far otherwise they can go. This also opens up Baranya and Carthinia for operations, which again makes things even harder. Right now the points are sitting at over 600. You know, there's nothing really to find out at this point, but I figured I'd let you see. All right, so we see the Bulgarians charging into Macedonia, and they've cleared. There were a lot of German reinforcements that pulled in just ahead of them. They're gone. They basically ran into safer territories. We also see Soviet units moving into Serbia itself. These pink guys. Tito is way ahead in points, so he will definitely ask them to leave. But actually, I've never seen them as being worth their points. If you keep them on, they're like 10 points per unit to stay in the game. So they really don't work very well. There's a lot of things in this game that, you know, are taken into account as, oh yeah, this is cool because it kind of fits the historical, like those points. But no one would make the choices involved other than the ones that Tito historically made. There's no point the Soviet units cannot generate enough points. The only cool thing is killing lots of Germans, and that's been kind of fun. You know, I'm going to call it here. The game's just become an exercise in counting points, really. I started moving the Yugoslavs, pulled the Bulgarians and Soviets off the board so they don't cost victory points. But there's really not a lot to do at this point. I mean, killing German units isn't really worth the victory points. You can get more points by not killing them and just hiding in the mountains. I think I understand why people don't particularly like the game. There are seldom times when people have serious decisions to make. I've seen times where Constantine is more interesting than it was here. But yeah, overall, it's a questionable game, but something about it draws me to it again and again. The rules are one of the problems with it. Much as I like old SPI games, these aren't terrible, and not by any means, but they're not up to the standards that I'm used to nowadays with things like the gamers. Just finding stuff in them is difficult. I have to continuously page through. But you know, given that it was under $3 as a magazine game, it's well worth it. It's an interesting system. I think it's got some severe flaws. I think I've given it around a 6 or a 7, just because I like the game in concept so much, even if I don't really enjoy playing it as much as I should. It feels really great at the beginning trying to figure it out, but once the puzzle's solved, there's just not that much to the game. So yeah, I guess I have higher hopes for it every time I play it than the actuality.